America poured billions of taxpayer dollars into building gleaming airports meant to handle tens of millions of travelers. But in 2025, they stand half-empty, bleeding money every single day. Concession sales are down by $500 million, parking revenue has collapsed by 40%, and cargo shipments worth tens of billions vanished overnight. Why? Trump's brutal trade war and tariffs triggered retaliations that gutted exports, slashed international tourism, and ripped out the economic heart of these airports. Once symbols of American might, they've turned into billion-dollar ghost terminals. These are the 10 U.S. airports nobody is visiting anymore. Number 10. San Francisco International Airport, California. San Francisco International Airport, or SFO as most travelers know it, is usually buzzing with tech workers, tourists headed to wine country, and international students flying in from Asia. But this summer of 2025, the story has taken a sharp turn. Passenger volume has dropped by nearly 28% compared to last year, and some terminals that once saw thousands streaming through daily now look eerily quiet. Airlines have slashed routes. Flights from Tokyo, London, and Paris that were once packed are now running half-empty or outright canceled. The economic ripple is hard to miss. San Francisco's tourism industry generates around $10 billion annually, but with fewer people landing at SFO, hotels near Union Square are reporting occupancy rates below 55% compared to the normal 80 to 85%. Restaurants that relied on convention traffic are cutting staff hours, and airport retailers, everything from high-end boutiques to grab-and-go food stalls, are seeing revenue fall by 35%. Beyond tourism, SFO's struggles reflect the broader challenges of the Bay Area. Tech layoffs in Silicon Valley have reduced business travel, while the high cost of living in San Francisco itself, where a median home still costs over $1.2 million and average rent sits around $3,200 per month, is discouraging domestic tourism. Even Americans are picking cheaper destinations instead of flying into the Bay. Airlines are also facing cost pressures. A single international flight grounded at SFO represents a loss of $150,000 to $200,000 in ticket revenue, not to mention cargo income. With fewer planes in the sky, airport fees that fund maintenance and expansion projects are shrinking fast. So, San Francisco International Airport, once the proud gateway to Northern California, is now a symbol of a tourism slowdown. Empty gates and deserted lounges are sending a clear message. Fewer tourists means a city and an airport struggling to stay afloat. Number 9. Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, Texas. Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, better known as DFW, is one of the largest airports in the world, covering nearly 27 square miles, bigger than Manhattan. Normally, it's a non-stop hub for both American Airlines and international carriers. But this year, the story is very different. Passenger traffic has slumped by nearly 22% compared to 2024, with airlines reporting entire flights to London, Madrid, and Mexico City operating at half capacity. That matters because DFW is not just a transit stop. It's a key economic engine for North Texas. The airport supports around 60,000 direct jobs and contributes over $37 billion annually to the regional economy. With tourism down, local hotels in the nearby Grapevine and Arlington areas are seeing bookings plummet. Even the Arlington Entertainment District, home to the Dallas Cowboys' AT&T Stadium, has noticed fewer tourists arriving through DFW for games and concerts. The drop is also rippling through restaurants and rental car companies. Revenue at DFW's sprawling network of 200-plus shops and dining outlets has dropped nearly 30%, forcing some locations to cut staff hours. Airlines have been grounding aircraft too. American Airlines, the airport's biggest tenant, has parked several wide-body jets, each capable of earning over $180,000 per flight when full. For travelers, the once chaotic terminals now feel strangely calm. TSA checkpoints that process 250,000 passengers per day are moving people through in record time, because there are simply fewer people to screen. The irony? What used to be America's fourth busiest airport is suddenly a ghost of itself, mirroring the tourist collapse happening nationwide. Number 8. Denver International Airport, Colorado. Denver International Airport, with its iconic white-tinted roof that looks like the Rocky Mountains, is usually one of America's fastest-growing airports. In fact, it ranked as the third busiest in the world in 2022 with over 69 million passengers. But the summer of 2025 has brought a stunning slowdown. Passenger traffic is down nearly 25%, and airlines are trimming routes, especially those catering to international tourists. Denver relies heavily on tourism dollars. Colorado welcomes about 84 million visitors annually, generating nearly $22 billion in spending. With fewer planes touching down, ski resorts, mountain lodges, and even downtown Denver hotels are feeling the sting. Average hotel occupancy has dipped below 60%, and businesses on Denver's famous 16th Street Mall are reporting revenue losses of up to 40% compared to last summer. The airport itself is taking a hit too. DIA employs around 35,000 workers, and with flights cut back, overtime shifts have nearly vanished. Shops and restaurants in the concourses are down by double digits, with some local chains pulling out altogether. Rental car agencies that once charged a premium during peak travel are slashing daily rates by 30% just to attract the smaller crowds. For airlines, Denver's downturn is especially painful because the airport is a key hub for United Airlines and Southwest. Each canceled international flight to London or Frankfurt represents hundreds of empty seats and lost cargo revenue. Meanwhile, Denver's ambitious $2 billion expansion project, which aimed to prepare for surging demand, is now facing questions as passenger numbers shrink. So, the mile-high city gateway that once symbolized growth and adventure has suddenly become a striking example of what happens when global tourism cools overnight. Number 7. O'Hare International Airport, Chicago, Illinois. Chicago's O'Hare International Airport is famous for being one of the busiest in the United States, processing nearly 80 million passengers a year before the slowdown. But this summer, the echo of rolling suitcases has been replaced by long stretches of silence. Passenger volume is down about 20%, hitting international flights hardest. Routes from London, Toronto, and Tokyo that once carried thousands weekly are now underbooked or canceled altogether. O'Hare is more than an airport. It's Chicago's lifeline to the world. The airport supports 500,000 jobs across Illinois when you count direct and indirect employment, and it pumps $60 billion annually into the state's economy. With fewer tourists landing, downtown Chicago hotels have seen bookings plunge, with average nightly rates dropping by 15% just to fill rooms. Restaurants near tourist hotspots like Navy Pier and the Magnificent Mile are also feeling the pinch, reporting sales down nearly 25%. Inside the airport, things look just as grim. Duty-free shops that once sold millions in perfumes and designer goods are struggling to stay afloat, with revenue down nearly 40%. Food vendors are reporting shorter lines, but that's because there are fewer customers. Even airlines are making tough calls. United Airlines and American Airlines, both of which operate major hubs here, have cut dozens of flights, each worth hundreds of thousands in potential revenue. Adding to the challenge, Chicago's already high costs don't make it easy to bounce back. With average hotel rates still hovering near $220 a night and local sales taxes among the highest in the nation, O'Hare isn't exactly luring budget-conscious travelers. Once the proud heart of Midwest aviation, O'Hare's quieter halls now tell the story of a city and state losing out on billions as global tourism pulls back. Number 6. Daniel K. Inouye International Airport, Honolulu, Hawaii. Honolulu's Daniel K. Inouye International Airport, often called HNL, has always been the gateway to paradise. But this summer, paradise feels unusually quiet. Passenger arrivals to Hawaii are down nearly 30% compared to 2024, with some airlines slashing daily flights from Japan, South Korea, and Australia, the lifelines of Hawaii's tourism economy. Hawaii normally depends heavily on visitors, pulling in around $19 billion a year in tourist spending. With fewer people landing at HNL, Waikiki hotels are reporting occupancy rates under 60%, a dramatic fall from the usual 85 to 90%. Restaurants that used to see lines of visitors after sunset luau's are now offering discounts just to bring in locals. Even island tour operators, from helicopter rides to dolphin cruises, have seen bookings cut in half. Inside the airport, the impact is easy to see. Duty-free shops that thrive on Japanese and Chinese tourists have seen sales tumble by nearly 40%, while local craft vendors complain of the slowest summer in a decade. Hawaiian Airlines, the state's largest carrier, has reduced flights to the mainland U.S., with some wide-body aircraft sitting idle. Each empty jet represents hundreds of lost hotel nights and thousands of dollars in missed tourist spending. The downturn highlights Hawaii's vulnerability. When tourism slows, the entire economy feels it. With the median cost of a single-family home topping $1 million and groceries already 65% higher than the mainland average, locals can't easily step in to replace lost tourist dollars. Honolulu's airport, once the vibrant symbol of Hawaii's open-armed aloha spirit, now paints a sobering picture. Fewer tourists mean paradise is becoming much harder to sustain. Number 5. Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, Washington. Seattle-Tacoma International, or SeaTac, has been one of America's fastest-rising airports to booming tech travel, cruise ships, and international links to Asia. But 2025 has dealt a surprising blow. Passenger counts are down nearly 18% year-over-year, with airlines cutting flights to Seoul, Tokyo, and Beijing, routes that once drove tourism and business travel alike. Seattle's economy has always leaned on global connections. The airport is the primary hub for Alaska Airlines and a major base for Delta, and in 2024, it moved nearly 52 million passengers. But now, hotels around downtown Seattle are reporting occupancy below 58%, while restaurants near Pike Place Market are seeing sales fall by 20 to 25% compared to last summer. Even the cruise industry, which depends on tourists flying in to start Alaska-bound voyages, has seen fewer bookings, hitting SeaTac with indirect losses. For the airport itself, the slump is hurting concession sales. Its shops and food stalls typically earn $400 million annually, but revenues are down by nearly a third. TSA checkpoints that used to screen 170,000 passengers daily are moving faster than ever, not due to efficiency, but because traffic has simply thinned. The ripple effects reach further. Boeing's local workforce, once bringing in constant visitors for business and training, has been cut back after layoffs, reducing travel demand. Even rental car agencies at SeaTac are reporting double-digit losses as fewer tourists head toward Washington's national parks. Seattle still has global clout, but the silence in SeaTac's once-packed concourses is a reminder. Even a booming tech hub can't escape the drag of a tourism crash. Number 4. Harry Reid International Airport, Las Vegas, Nevada. Harry Reid International Airport, right at the doorstep of the Las Vegas Strip, is usually buzzing 24/7. In 2024, it welcomed 57 million passengers, making it one of America's busiest. But this summer, Sin City's gateway feels eerily subdued. Passenger numbers have dropped nearly 25%, with major airlines cutting routes from Toronto, London, and Mexico City. That decline is devastating because Las Vegas relies almost entirely on tourism. The city's economy pulls in around $44 billion annually from visitors. With fewer people flying into Harry Reid, hotels on the Strip are slashing rates. Some once charging $250 a night are now offering rooms for under $100 midweek. Casino floors that thrive on out-of-towners have seen gaming revenue fall by 15%. And restaurants that once had long wait times are now half empty. The airport itself is feeling the shock. Shops and eateries inside Harry Reid are reporting revenue declines of 35%, while rideshare pickups have plummeted. Airlines are grounding flights that once delivered thousands of gamblers and conventioneers every weekend. A single canceled wide-body international flight can mean $200,000 in lost ticket sales, not to mention millions in downstream hotel, food, and entertainment spending. The effects ripple far beyond the Strip. Workers, from blackjack dealers to baggage handlers, are losing hours. Las Vegas's already fragile housing market is wobbling too, with fewer out-of-state buyers flying in. Even big conventions like CES and sporting events are bracing for smaller international crowds. Harry Reid International has always mirrored the city it serves, flashy, loud, and busy. But with tourism slowing, its quieter terminals are proof that even Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, isn't immune when millions of travelers cancel their trips. Number 3. John F. Kennedy International Airport, New York. John F. Kennedy International Airport, or simply JFK, has long been America's busiest international gateway. In a normal year, it handles over 62 million passengers, with flights stretching across 6 continents. But in 2025, JFK's hauls are strikingly quiet. Passenger counts are down by 23% compared to 2024, with entire routes to Europe and Asia running at less than half capacity. This slowdown is hitting New York City hard. Tourism is one of the city's economic pillars, bringing in around $74 billion annually, and much of that starts with passengers landing at JFK. With fewer visitors, Manhattan hotels that once had occupancy rates above 85% are barely hitting 60%, while restaurants around Times Square and Broadway are reporting sales down nearly 25%. Even Broadway shows, once magnets for international tourists, have seen ticket sales decline. Inside JFK, the impact is just as clear. Duty-free shops that thrived on European and Asian travelers are posting revenue losses of nearly 40%, and food vendors have scaled back staff. Delta and American Airlines, both major players here, have reduced flights, each cancellation representing potential losses of $150,000 to $250,000 in ticket revenue. The city's high costs aren't helping, with hotel rates averaging $290 a night and meal prices among the highest in the country. International tourists are choosing more affordable destinations. Even domestic travelers are skipping New York, worried about expenses and safety. For an airport that symbolizes global connections, JFK's quieter terminals send a sobering message. The world's biggest city is struggling to keep its tourist engine running. Number 2. Los Angeles International Airport, California. Los Angeles International Airport, or LAX, is usually one of the busiest in the world, handling over 75 million passengers a year. It's the hub of Hollywood, Disneyland, and the gateway to the Pacific Rim. But this summer, the red carpets feel rolled up. Passenger volume has fallen by 20%, and international arrivals from Australia, Japan, and Europe are especially weak. The impact stretches far beyond the airport. Los Angeles County generates nearly $40 billion annually from tourism, yet hotel occupancy has slipped below 65%, down from 82% last year. Luxury hotels in Beverly Hills and Santa Monica are offering rare discounts, while restaurants along Rodeo Drive and the Santa Monica Pier are reporting sales down by nearly 30%. Even Disneyland in nearby Anaheim has seen fewer foreign visitors, a hit to both the park and surrounding businesses. For airlines, LAX is one of the most expensive airports to operate in, with high landing fees and congestion. Each canceled trans-Pacific flight represents hundreds of empty seats and millions in missed cargo and passenger revenue. Retailers inside the terminals, once selling everything from high-end handbags to fast food, have reported double-digit drops in sales. Even Hollywood is feeling the pinch. International film crews and executives who once flocked to Los Angeles are slowing down travel, trimming the glitz from the city's global image. With median hotel prices still at $250 a night and average meals near $100 for two, international travelers are finding cheaper alternatives. LAX, usually buzzing with endless energy, now shows how even the entertainment capital of the world can stumble when the tourist flow dries up. Number 1. Miami International Airport, Florida. Miami International Airport, or MIA, has always been a vibrant gateway between the US, Latin America, and Europe. In 2024, it welcomed nearly 52 million passengers, but in 2025, its runways tell a different story. Passenger numbers have dropped by nearly 28%, with flights from Canada, Spain, and Brazil particularly hard hit. That's a nightmare for Miami, a city where tourism pumps in around $18 billion annually. Hotels along South Beach, which once had nightly rates of $300 or more, are slashing prices by nearly 40% just to keep rooms filled. Restaurants on Ocean Drive are reporting customer traffic down by 30%, and clubs that once charged hefty cover fees are now offering free entry to locals. Even cruise lines, which rely heavily on Miami's airport to bring in passengers, are seeing fewer bookings. Inside MIA, the effects are glaring. Retail and food sales have fallen nearly 35%, with some vendors closing altogether. Airlines like American, which uses Miami as a major hub, have reduced service to key international markets. Each grounded flight represents losses of $150,000 or more, not counting the ripple effect of tourists who never arrive. The downturn is even hitting Miami's real estate market. International buyers from Latin America and Europe, who often flew into MIA to purchase condos, have slowed dramatically. With median condo prices still hovering near $550,000, fewer tourists are translating into fewer buyers. For a city built on sunshine, nightlife, and non-stop visitors, Miami International Airport's eerie quiet this summer is more than just an airport issue. It's the clearest sign yet that America's tourism engine is grinding to a halt.